This is my heavy metal meditation.
Hi folks, I'd like to introduce myself to those that don't know me. I go by Sam Bones. I'm a writer, nomad, adventurer, avid hiker, activist, herbalist, musician. I've been traveling for the better part of a decade. When I was 18 years old, I hopped freight trains for a few years, and that led to this never-ending hunger for knowledge of the unknown. I've lived in 14 cities, 7 states, a few countries, traveled much more than that. I homesteaded in Alaska, I lived in Arequipa, Peru, I traveled to Central America to learn about tropical plant medicine in Manzanillo, Costa Rica. I hitchhiked Europe, done a lot of cool stuff. It's been rad. And along the way, I've had a lot of hustles. I worked Weed World back in the day before it was on the white market. I built cabins, I've done construction, demolition, bartending. Most recently, I was a restaurant manager and I toured with my music. And as you know, with the global pandemic is tanking the economies of all those hustles. Over the years, people have been asking me to have a show, or telling me that I need a show or to write a book. I have written a book, will be released later this year. But as I've been sitting in this house with a lot of time on my hands, a show became a little bit more appealing. And then last week I was in DC marching amongst tens and thousands of people that support the revolution of Black Lives Matter, and which was one of the most beautiful and powerful moments of my life. As the sun was coming down and everyone was just listening to each other, I reminisced of Mark Twain's words: travel is fatal to prejudice. Now, I want to share my travels with you for purely personal gain. But if I get to open the eyes of others, that's a pretty cool bonus. So, I'm going to introduce to you my new YouTube channel, Travelin with Bones. I will be sharing my travels with you, and I will be, in this series, I'll be sharing camping spots, hiking spots, mountain biking spots, maybe. I have a bike, I haven't used it yet, really. The lowdown on local culture, current events, protests, silly shit that happens on the road, DIY stuff. Hopefully we don't end up there, but I am pretty handy under the hood of a car. So I'll share that kind of stuff if it happens. It's pretty inevitable with the long kind of trails that we'll be traveling. But the first leg of my travels right now will be starting here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'll be heading down to West Virginia, hiking, camping, and same in North Carolina, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Kentucky area. I'll be hiking, camping, and sharing some stuff with you, sharing like how to socially distance travel. We'll see how that goes. Buying time until Juneteenth, a monumental day for the Black community, the African American community here in the U.S., where Trump will be holding a rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I will be outside of that rally protesting. After that, I have a couple of weeks to quarantine before I visit my family in Oregon. I will be spending the majority of that time quarantining in my car, traveling around the mountains, getting lost. And I'll share as much of that with you as I can, maybe find some cool desert plant medicine to share with you. And then after that, I'm heading to the Navajo Nation, where I will be working or volunteering with a COVID relief effort. I want you to understand that I do not promote any kind of activity that spreads COVID. That's including large gatherings, shows, restaurants, all of that, besides protesting. Protesting, I believe, is saving more lives in the long run than COVID is taking. So on these travels, I will not be camping in tourist areas, I will not be hiking in tourist areas, I will be staying away from people as much as I can. It's going to be hard until I get to the Southwest, but I will do my best. Yeah, so if you want to tune in from your home or wherever you may be, that would be great. I'm going to try to post at least once or twice a week on YouTube and the social medias and stuff like that. You can find all of that information below this YouTube channel. Please check out my website, www.sambones.com, where I have an apothecary. You can buy your herbal medicine. I have Sam Bones music and merch. And then I started a Patreon as well. All that that link will be on the website as well as below this video. Patreon's new, but it would be great if I could get some supporters to help me get along the way. Gas is not free. It's cheap, though, so it won't take much. I appreciate y'all. Please tune in to the rest of this episode. I'm going to go over how to pack a car, what to bring, and how to check all of the oils and fluids and brakes and stuff like that before you go on a big trip. Alright, cheers y'all. Stay safe. This is my lovely home in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I lived in a camper for a good while to save up enough money to buy a home. It's fairly affordable in this city. Anyways, this is the Subaru that I will be driving. It's a 2010 Forester with like 101,000 miles on it. It's the nicest car I've ever had. Newest car I've ever had too. But I'm gonna still bring things just in case, because I have been broken down on the side of the road more times than I'd like to admit. So to begin, I always bring a patch kit for tires. So there's that, and this as well. It's cheap. It's the cheap version, but it'll get you to the next town. PB Blaster. Lucas is my favorite brand. I can't afford it all the time, but I have a few of them. This is a transmission stop slip. Power steering fluid, antifreeze, of course, transmission fluid, brake cleaner, power steering stop leak, power steering fluid, and brake fluid. I just need to get oil and a oil stop leak. As far as tools go, I am bringing a propane torch with me, an O2 oxygen sensor, socket wrench, just in case, bolt cutters to get into cool places, ratchet set. I have SAE and metric here, and I have more in the bag. And of course, jumper cables, tow straps, duct tape, of course. This light is pretty cool. It has a magnet, and it so it can be on your hood. You can work at night, and it plugs into your cigarette lighter. Wrench set. This magnet thing is helpful because I drop shit all the time. And there's like miscellaneous stuff in here, but that is pretty much the good starter kit for a long road trip. So, first things first, you definitely want to check the fluids of your car. When it's cool, you can check the reservoir of your radiator. Now, it's important to check this because you can know if there's anything going on with your head gasket by checking this out, making sure it's not milky. There's no milk in there. There's no gas or mixture. It's all good, fine and dandy. And then this is your reservoir. Looks like we could use a little bit. Your oil, right here. I need to do an oil change before I go, and I will. I'm not going to do a DIY video on that because there's plenty out there. I like to check my battery terminals and make sure they're clean and the connection is good. You'll see like different crust and like white, blue shit if they're dirty, but they're all good and nice greasy. So you got your brake fluid here. I'm trying to show you the fill line, but I think that's right there. So you can see it. It's pretty good. It's all clear. It looks good. And then you jump over here and check your power steering. I don't know if you can see that hot max, so it's a little above, but I think it'll be all right. And then I forget where the transmission is here. Oh, and the transmission back here, once again, this is a 2010 Forester Subaru. And the transmission's here. And then you can smell it, see if it's burnt, see if it's dark. It looks pretty good to me. One thing about Subaru Foresters at 2010, their timing chain or their timing belt can go out around this time, which sucks because I just dealt with that in my last car. That will not be a DIY video if that happens. And then you definitely want to check your rotors. I don't know if you can see that well. And then your brake pads, and make sure that they're pretty thick and good to go. I can't really show you in this video, but that is definitely important to check out. Hey folks, I'm just going to show you what I tend to pack for a trip that's going to be this long. So we have your Dr. Bronner soap. You can wash your clothes, face, body, dishes, teeth with it. It's pretty magic. Got a camping chair, your hiking boots, your mountain biking shoes, your work boots. I like to travel with a 410 shotgun. It folds, so it's nice because it can go into like a day hiking backpack just in case. Goggles, respirator for protesting. The headlamp, of course, will come in handy. This is my first aid kit. It's pretty basic. Keep it in a gun case because it's waterproof. This is like really good for nettle stings. I make this salve. Yarrow leaf is really good for stopping any kind of bleeding. I have a suture kit and a stitch removal kit. I used to work at a hospital, so I scored a lot of good stuff. Alcohol, iodine, calendula, more salves that I've made for either burns or pain. Also on my apothecary. So this is naloxone, or I have Narcan as well. It's always better safe than sorry. Band-aids, gauze, saline. The list goes on. I have some syringes and clean syringes just in case if someone needs them. I am not a drug user, but I know people that are, and I like them to be safe. Yoga mat, butane, bear mace. Bear mace, ladies, I love to encourage people that are not comfortable traveling with a gun to always have bear mace. It has a 5-foot by 35-foot wood span and can do a lot of damage to human and mammals, or all mammals, I should say. You got your hammock. My 32-degree sleeping bag is not the best, but it's okay for summer. And that's a backpacking tent, 2-person tent, but for someone that's as tall as me, it's good for just me. I think it weighs about 2.5 pounds. It's great for hiking. The helmet is for protests, just in case. Maybe I'll put it on when I mountain bike too, we'll see. Teas and spices. You have your cooler, of course, an extra blanket. I always have to have an instrument with me. Unfortunately, I can only bring my guitar this trip. I would like to bring my banjo or keyboard, but that's not going to happen. I have my Travelin apothecary. These are some tinctures that I have and salves and stuff. I will be selling things on the road. You can find it at Dark Hearts Apothecary under my website. Then you have my art supplies, some records to paint on, toiletries, books, which are really important, road atlas, of course, and then an inverter, super handy. I also have CDs, just in case if anyone wants to buy merch. My favorite way to make coffee, as you can tell, I put it over a couple of campfires. I have a backcountry pocket rocket stove. This thing rules if you're going on long backcountry hikes. And then you have just your regular camping stuff, stoves. That's a propane stove for the front country. This is a bucket so I can do my dishes with that awesome Bronner soap. And just some plates and stuff. And of course, water. Lots and lots of water because I am going to be hitting the south. All right, well, it's time to get this mess all packed up. And that's it, y'all. I would show you what the car looks like packed up, but I'm not gonna pack it tonight. I don't want anything to get stolen. So that'll happen in the next video. Make sure you check out my website, subscribe to this YouTube link, do all the likes, buttons, thumbs ups, and stuff like that. This is Luna. Luna. Oh, she's mad. She knows I'm leaving. And yeah, just keep following the travels. Please stay safe, stay strong, stay sane, and I'll see you on the next video. All right, thanks.
This is my heavy.